Hi there, this is Skye, and I'm going to talk about an introduction to the Kaizen Change Model. So, what is the Kaizen Change Model? So, Kaizen is a genuine Japanese development philosophy. It's made up of two words, Kai, meaning change, and Zen, meaning good. So, change models in organizations are obviously important as there's change that's constant in technology, financial, everything across the board. So, when we're looking at change in organizations, we want to make sure that we're using a change model that makes sense for organization. And not only can these change models change the organization, but they can also change internally for people. They can change them personally, kind of like Michael Jackson's song "Man in the Mirror" suggests. So some other examples of change models, the Deming wheel, the Six Sigma, the five S's, WBS method, Lewin's change model, McKinsey 7S framework, Cotter 8-step, ADKAR, nudge theory, Bridges transition model, and there's so many others. So definitely take a look at all the different change models depending on what makes sense for you. Make sure to look at not only the positives of it, but maybe what it cannot help you with as well based on the research. And why do we use Kaizen? So every business can use Kaizen. Originally used in the 1960s by Toyota Production Systems, or TPS, to reinvent and revamp their systems. They wanted to eliminate waste, and they thought that the value really remained on removing whatever they could or reducing it to basically come up with something that was less wasteful. So an overview of that would be that while there's many ways to do things, no process is perfect. Kaizen is a way in which companies can continuously change. Kaizen views problems as opportunities, and as we know, when we look at something like the word problem, we have a negative connotation to it versus opportunity, where there's something to be gained. So why is this important? Toyota has figured out a way to not only change, but a process that has stumped others to understand their success and to be able to duplicate it in other businesses. Many leading companies look to Toyota, and books have been written on the success of Toyota as a company and how they handled things. So their system is a little bit more complex than just, some of the things that we read about. Toyota's management employs Kaizen-focused initiatives known as Jishkuen, which emphasize continuous improvement through self-directed study groups. Basically, Jishuken means it's self-empowered, self-directed. So that means what in an organization? That is something that is a leader that we can do, that we are helping other people become more self-directed, ask questions. And unlike our society where, people don't want to ask questions because they feel like it may be, they look less knowledgeable, this is really encouraged in this situation where questions are encouraged and really acknowledged as being like thought-provoking. And we've all heard the saying that men don't want to ask for directions, even if they are lost, so because they don't want to look like they don't know what they're doing. Totally different in this situation. So themes that derive from the readings, that there was a problem or an opportunity, and then how to get to the solution. So Kaizen is easy to use for both business and personally. It does and can help streamline processes. You can bring teams together to solve issues if they buy in. It's really important that the teams buy into that collaboration. So that means the culture has got to be one of team building and reflection and feedback. Toyota is a success story used by others to implement this. It can also, on a negative side, it can be a slower process and does not work well for crisis situations. Something that has to be responded to quickly because this is, again, slower process and could take a little bit more time, especially in some of the steps, like collaboration. This also may overlook broader issues. So things that are, a larger scale would not work well for Kaizen. So there's 6 steps. The first one, identify an opportunity. So you can ask, what is not working? How could this be better? Anything that you might say would normally be like, what is the problem? Or, how could it might even be a problem. It could be you're doing really well, you're making 100,000 a year, but how do you make 150? That could be not a problem, but it could be, what is my opportunity? What could I do? Explore new ideas. So ask employees and collaborate. Same thing. You want to make $150,000 a year, then how do you do that? You look to people that are doing well in your industry. What are they doing? How are they changing things? What ideas do they have? What can they do to make it better? Next, break the objective down into smaller pieces or deliverables. So you have a person in your industry who is really doing awesome social media. Well, you might then decide to adapt those things and decide to, even do YouTube videos, for instance, and see how that helps your business. Then once you do that, you will plan to do the YouTube videos. Maybe you hire a photographer, you hire an editor, you hire people to help you, you use AI, whatever the case may be, but you plan the tasks. Then once you do that, you test it, you monitor it. So you're not only just looking at like, hey, I put this video up on YouTube, but did it track attention? Did it, can I track the attention? Is it working? Maybe it's the content. Maybe it's hiring a company that knows how to get it out into the search engine optimization for the internet, and maybe it's on the wrong sites. So then you adapt it and you plan accordingly. And then you just keep going. So you don't give up on this project. You are doing YouTube, so you continue to work on it. You continue to learn the skills for it. You continue to develop whatever you need to do. You put that plan in place and maybe automate it. And then you move on to the next objective or opportunity that you see, but you don't forget about what you've already accomplished. The objective of this presentation is to be able to apply Kaizen in other businesses and personally. So Kaizen emphasizes that consistent, small, positive changes in workflows and the reduction of inefficiencies can lead to significant long-term improvements in performance and productivity. And this gal here, she wrote a book in 1986. She was a leading philosopher in regards to the systemic approach to continuous improvement. And her book is called The Key to Japan's Competitive Success. So, this really took off when this book was written, and most all of the research that I read referred back to this book, which really, put a light onto what Toyota was doing or has done in the past, how they operate, and why that system is so successful and how it's been incorporated into other cultures and into other businesses. So Kaizen, the focus is a step-by-step and ongoing facelift to a system, a process, and people within an organization. So again, it's going to be ongoing. That's the major, thing for this here is that you're going to continuously improve. You're going to get a facelift when you need it. And then, just like a house, when, the house gets old, you have to replace things. Same thing. So you're going to continue to take care of that house, build it, and you build upon the foundation that you already have. So step by step. And I just skipped one part. So the belief is based on making little changes consistently over time. So large long-term gains and improvement based on those little steps. And we hear that a lot in things like healthcare or fitness. And so you might hear from your doctor that says, hey, if you just walk 20 minutes a day, that will impact you. By the end of the week, you will lose 1 pound, 2 pounds. Your cholesterol will be down. Your heart health will be better. So those are compounding. Same thing here. Little steps. It might be even just cutting out one thing from your diet has a great impact. So that's kind of the same mentality here, which is why this is used so often in other situations. So the practical applications for Kaizen in other industries could be like in manufacturing, similar to Toyota. They had this production of, not wasting. And so really that method of making sure that you are not wasting, and they can take that into other companies and improve upon that. In service industries, we can improve on our customer service using this method. In technology, they use it in product development, in cycles for that, for SOPs, for feedback. There's so many ways to incorporate this into your, workplace. And so there's 6 steps to Kaizen, and I'm going to break them down and give some real world applications in real estate. Since that's my field, it makes sense for me to talk about that since I've used Kaizen for quite a while now. Step 1 is identify the problem or opportunity. So my problem is social media posts, I'm not receiving a lot of likes or comments or shares, which actually leads to less business because social media is a huge moneymaker in my industry. So the action is that I need to measure the engagement. So step 2 is explore ideas, analyze, and ask employees or ask other people. So if I'm analyzing it, what does the content look like? Are the clients on these platforms? Maybe they're on Facebook. Maybe a different demographic is on Facebook. Maybe a different age group is on Facebook. What market am I targeting? And then I can brainstorm and work with others to look at trends, to evaluate platform choices, to look at target audiences. If I'm trying to reach luxury clientele and I'm only showing houses that are, 100,000, that doesn't really put me in the luxury bracket. So I have to be looking constantly at what I'm posting, how it's doing trend wise. What posts do people like? What posts do people not like? Maybe people don't comment on things. All of that is something that has to be analyzed by a social media partner. Step 3, break down the objective. So I'm going to set specific goals that can be measured. That's really important. So for instance, like having video views increase on YouTube by 30% or having 100 likes on Facebook. Maybe if you're on Instagram and that's your clientele that's on Instagram, you want to make sure that you're commenting on everything. And then step 4, plan the task, engage the team. We could plan all kinds of things to do to really up our views on social media. And one of those could be having a virtual tour, like live on Facebook or behind the scenes with the photographers, or hey, come with me while I decorate this house. Or I'm going to look at listings today and these are so beautiful, or problems with inspections, or the list goes on and on. And there's so many things that you could do to showcase yourself and have yourself stick out a little bit more on social media so people want to like it, want to share it, want to post it. And those are all things where it's really helpful in our community where we are working to ask for others' opinions. So that could be something that we do as part of our plan and task. We can use a video company for drones and photography. I just hired a new video company myself for a photo shoot, and I'm going to use Zillow Showcase for the first time because why not? I'm going to try it out. A lot of people are on Zillow. The numbers are really high. So I'm going to go with that trend and see if it works. I'm at least going to try it and see. I'm going to ask for referrals and see if my referral network likes my social media. And then if they do they then go from my social media to look at my website? How do I drive traffic to my website? That's really important too. How do we do that? And then document what's working, what's not working. What if it is working, like the videos, the posts, the YouTubes, the social media that is working, we want to put that into a plan. And we want to create that plan of action. And then step 6, move on. So we're going to regularly review our performance. We're going to adjust and add new strategies on TikTok or what is trending. If reels are successful and people are doing these like quick reels, or if something's new, on social media. We have to keep up with those current social media hacks and trends. That's really important. Keep updating yourself. If you don't know how to do it, then you need to ask for other people. I saw some really cool videos the other day for real estate, and I asked a gal that posted, I'm like, how did you do this? This is so cool. And she showed me it's this free app that's on your phone called ClipCut. And I was like, I've never seen that. And it takes your pictures, it puts them into a cool theme, and then it is instant, easily posted. So it's like something quick and easy. It took 2 seconds for me to ask, 2 seconds for me to implement. And, I had this awesome video right off the bat. And then I get more views because people like the video. It's more interesting. And that is something I love, is when people like my content and post something back. And it seems to me like a lot of people like my dog. So I get a lot of interest if I post my dog. I just need to bring my dog everywhere. And I'd probably have tons of social impact from that. But anyway, so when in move on stage, you want to make sure that you're not moving on completely. It's move on, but don't forget about it. Okay. So we want to make sure that we're improving upon that same item that we've already succeeded on, and then we're adding another one to it and looking for the next objective to conquer. The core principle of Kaizen is to continuously improve. So this is a big, big moneymaker in our industry. And so some examples of using Kaizen in our own personal life and partially in business too would be time management. So both time management in your personal life and in business, maybe you time block or whatever. That's something that is super helpful. Health and wellness, fitness, skill development, stress relief. Can you think of any? I'm sure there's others that you can think of, but personally, I know that I spend a ton of money on how to do this books and how to do that books and, classes and education. And according to Grandview Research 2018, the global personal development market generated revenue of $45 million in 2023 and is expected to reach 67 million by 2030. So that's estimated to reach that. It's crazy how much money is in this business. So there are some limitations that I do want to talk about. So one we mentioned earlier was a slow process. While focusing on small problems may result in changes, they are not always quick. The process could be difficult to incorporate in times of crisis, like we had mentioned, like for instance, if a computer system crashes or there's a data breach, that's something that has to be handled quickly. We don't have time to collaborate and, get other people's feedback. Sometimes you just have to have a leader in charge that's, either visionary or ready to handle whatever comes our way. The next one is it requires buy-in. So the only way that this works with an organization is if you have a culture of collaboration. And so if the employees are fearful of change, then they are less likely to be productive in the process. The overall outcome might suffer. Culture is just so important to becoming successful, especially with this process. So the culture resistance, again, if it doesn't encourage feedback, reflections, and collaboration, they will struggle to implement Kaizen. Managers can combat this by helping coach teams, helping them problem solve, and could be, constantly a continuous support system for them. They can also ask for help from their peers and their other managers, as well as encourage and foster asking for help as a positive in the culture. Contributions are considered as a fresh perspective, and again, welcomed in this situation. So those are ways that, again, how it's presented could be a huge impact on the fear surrounded by change. Another limitation is that big changes might not happen, in this kind of process. So again, large scale items like rebranding a whole entire business, for instance, this is not going to be the model that you want to use for that. Something like an acquisition, too large. It might work well with the smaller parts of it, and then maybe you use a different model for the rebranding or the acquisitions or something that's on a larger scale. So again, other ways to combat limitations would be combine with other methods like the Lean Six, use Kaizen for smaller operational improvements, have managers train and coach to implement create a culture of feedback for problem solving. And then in conclusion, Kaizen is the method of continuous improvement that can be used by businesses and individuals. This presentation has demonstrated the steps to use Kaizen and incorporate at work or at home. So my 10 takeaways and conclusions from the research and my own use of Kaizen are that problems generate opportunities. So I love that because I do feel like there is so many opportunities in what people would consider problems. For instance, if you can't find a home, which leads you to finding me as a real estate agent. Value ideas from others. So take insights and knowledge from people who are more successful, and also just listen to other people that maybe aren't more successful, but maybe have great ideas, or just valuing their ideas in general. I think just making sure you're coming from a place of like just thankfulness. Ask questions using the 5 whys. So this answers most of what is needed usually, and then you can kind of dig a little deeper. And then think of solutions quickly. So you got to think on your toes with this. You have to know how to problem solve. I think just, really working on your AI, and working on just knowing how to do things quickly. And then rejecting the status quo. Like, don't take the status quo as, the end all be all. Choose simple solutions. Not everything has to be complicated. Create those light bulb moments, meaning like just be creative and be clever with what you're doing. Know that progress is not perfection. So as long as you're making progress, you don't need perfection. So strive for progress, not perfection. Correct mistakes as you go. It's much easier to do. And then improvements never end. Just keep going, constantly improve. Questions? You got a pop quiz. Let's see. What does Kaizen stand for? Kai equals what? Zen equals what? So is it A, good love, B, good change good, C, strong change, D, change is bad, E, so cool, or F, no clue? If you answered B, change plus good equals Kaizen, that is correct. Give yourself a pat. What company made Kaizen model famous? Is it A, Honda, B, Ford, C, Chevy, D, Toyota, E, Audi, F, Mercedes? The answer is D, Toyota. Nice work. If you want training on change models, one site that I use is Udemy. They offer classes on loads of topics. They have classes from, how to, be a great coach, to all kinds of change models, to like art, anything you can imagine is on Udemy. And then I posted this here because change is really something that can be helpful to others. So I use this model to create blessing bags for the homeless. And so although, I can't solve world hunger, I can't solve world homelessness myself, I can use this model to change something locally. And so I use it as an opportunity to say, okay, well, what can I do? How can I get real estate agents involved? And I created a group of us to come together and make blessing bags. And so people had their parts, they were able to share, they were able to collaborate. And then we came together, and then we figured out at the end what worked, what didn't work. And so we know that next time we need some items that maybe are a little bit more sustainable in the bag, to keep long term, in case we have extra bags that aren't being able to give out right away. So in each bag we had water, granola, socks, lip balm, deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, $5, a little message of hope or blessing, or a piece of scripture or something to encourage them. So, but anyway, it was such a great event, and it was a way to bring people together, and without focusing on real estate and really focusing on the community. And at the end of the day, we just all need to be better humans. So that was really awesome. So thank you so much. If you have questions, please reach out to me. And I hope to talk to you soon. Have a great day.